I'm Isaac, and every day on this channel we go through everything Donald Trump said on Truth Social over the last 24 hours. And today was the delayed January jobs report. Let's see how it went. So, Donald Trump said, just in, great job, numbers far greater than expected. The United States of America should be paying much less on its borrowings. We are again the strongest country in the world and should therefore be paying the lowest interest rate by far. This would be an interest cost savings of at least $1 trillion per year. Balanced budget plus wow. The golden age is upon us. And so let's take a look at that jobs report.
Non-farm payrolls for January coming in twice expectations at 130,000. 130K, that would be the juiciest going back to April of last year when it was 158. Now, if we look at a couple of months worth of revision, they came in at minus 17,000. Now, let's look for average hourly earnings month over month, up 0.4. That's 1/10 higher than both looking back and looking forward. 0.4 would equal October last year. You are all the way back to the summer of 24 to find a higher month-over-month earnings number. Let's go year over year. 3.7 exactly as expected. 1/10 light to 3.8 in the rearview mirror. So how does that stack up? 3.7 would be the lightest since it was actually 3.6 Thanksgiving of last year. Now let's look at hours worked, shall we? 34.3. That increase, that's a good thing. That's up 1/10 from both what we were expecting and our last look. 34.3 would equal November. To find a higher one, you're all the way back to March of 24. Now the unemployment rate, maybe the most important number of all, and it moves down 1/10, 4.3%. All the naysayers out there, they're going to like this set of data points. 4.3 would be equal to where we were in August of last year. To find a lower number, you're looking at June of last year. Labor force participation moved up as well. More good news, 62.5. That would be the best since it was 62.6 in April of last year. And drumroll please, the final number I'm going to give you is U60 employment rate, and it comes in at 8%. 8%. Last look was 8.4. 8% would be the best going all the way back to July when it was 7.9.
And the White House quotes Donald Trump's post about this, calling the experts wrong once again. The jobs numbers smash expectations, crushing economists' expectations at 130,000 jobs added in January. And they also posted a massive private sector growth and government job cuts, fueling an economy ready to take off. And they break down the jobs report even further. So, I found this really interesting. There was 172,000 new jobs created in the private sector and 42,000 government jobs lost. And the unemployment rate is 4.3%. And Donald Trump reposted these statistics. And he also shares this Truth Social post, calling this video a must watch, and it's 100% correct. So let's take a look.
Donald Trump just got the EU to offer to drop tariffs on all American products. Like literally 3 days of threatening the EU with tariffs. And Europe is now ready to drop all tariffs on U.S. products. Oh, and Vietnam's doing the same thing. They want to drop all tariffs on U.S. products. Oh, and so does India. You know, no more tariffs on the products we want to sell to the billion fucking people that live in that country. Oh yeah, and Israel getting rid of tariffs on U.S. products. And Japan. And South Korea. And Thailand. Oh, and 43 other nations. All offering Donald Trump 0% tariffs on U.S. products. He did all that in 5 days. 195 sovereign nations in the world, and more than a quarter of them are now offering 0 tariffs on U.S. products just so they can continue to trade with us. And all because Donald Trump was willing to threaten them with tariffs. Like, do y'all understand the benefit that's going to have on the United States of America? The benefit that's going to have on American companies that want to sell products worldwide? And he did all of this while half the country was bitching about it. He did this while y'all were protesting, while you were attacking American companies and firebombing car dealerships. Like, I actually saw so many of you on X saying we should invoke the 25th Amendment, saying that we should remove him from office. And while you were doing all of that complaining, he now has agreements with more than 50 nations to not put a single tariff on our products. and is drawing up trade agreements that are beneficial to the United States.
And Trump also gets praise about Trump RX from CVS Pharmacy. We looked at Trump RX a couple days ago. It's their platform to lower drug prices. CVS said as the Trump administration continues to establish more competitive prices for important medicines, we at CVS Health are doing our part, creating more affordable access to families across the country who need fertility medications. And Trump reposted that. Also, some pretty big news from today. Donald Trump says, I have just finished meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel and various of his representatives. It was a very good meeting. The tremendous relationship between our two countries continues. There was nothing definite reached other than I insisted that negotiations with Iran continue to see whether or not a deal can be consummated. If it can, I let the Prime Minister know that will be a preference. If it cannot, we'll just have to see what the outcome will be. Last time Iran decided that they were better off not making a deal, they were hit with midnight hammer. That did not work well for them. Hopefully this time they will be more reasonable and responsible. Additionally, we discussed the tremendous progress being made in Gaza and the region in general. There is truly peace in the Middle East. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And moving on to more domestic issues, let's talk about crime. Axios has this article that says violent crime plummets across major U.S. cities. And Donald Trump fixed that, adding the caption, thanks to President Trump. Also, the White House says, good morning. American elections should be decided by American citizens only. Save America Act, making voter ID and proof of citizenship the standard. And today, the Save America Act was actually passed in the House. Now, it's yet to be passed in the Senate, so we'll see what happens. And Michigan leaders are calling for action to pass the Save Act now to secure election integrity and ensure only American citizens vote. And a hot topic we've been hearing about a lot is Jeffrey Epstein. Well, today, Trump posts a video from Mila Joy that talks about Trump and his connections to Epstein.
I never once heard Donald Trump talking to Jeffrey Epstein on the phone. I never once saw Jeffrey Epstein in that office. I never spoke to Jeffrey Epstein personally. I never engaged in emails, text messages, any communication. In fact, I only lived like 12 blocks away from Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not even sure if I was ever in the same restaurant as Jeffrey Epstein. And because I turn around and I say that during the 11 plus 12 years that I was literally living inside Trump's office, I never once had any dealings where Trump was in communication or talked about Jeffrey Epstein.
And Trump captions that the Trump hater Michael Cohen proves there's zero connection between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. And Trump today calls out Apple News, saying they promote left-leaning media outlets as it shuts out conservative sites entirely. And according to the account Commentary Posts from Trump's Truth Social, there's a bombshell that comes from Media Research Center. These are people that watch media bias like hawks. They went through 620 top stories that popped up on Apple News during the busy morning hours in January 2026, from the 1st to the 31st. And out of those 620, a whopping 440 71% came from outlets rated left-leaning by all sides. Trump also shares another video. It's of Melania Trump meeting a soldier, and the caption reads, "The First Lady did her best to keep the wounded soldier seated, but this hero was determined to stand as his commander-in-chief walked into his hospital room. Respect is earned, not given." No, it's not sweet. The rhino governor of the great state of Oklahoma. Sorry, that was a bad transition. In which Trump says, I won all 77 counties 3 times. The only person to do so incorrectly stated my position on the very exclusive governor's annual dinner and meeting at the White House. The White House intends to limit invitations to the annual business meeting scheduled for February 20th to Republican governors only. That is false. The invitations were sent to all governors other than 2, who I feel are not worthy of being there. I did not invite the governor of Colorado, who is unfairly incarcerated in solitary confinement, a 73-year-old cancer-stricken woman, a 9-year term for attempting to fight Democrat voter fraud. Plus, the foul-mouthed governor of Maryland, who fraudulently stated that he received military medals. A lie, and is doing a terrible job on the rebuilding of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, and has allowed Baltimore to continue to be a crime disaster. I even invited the slob of a governor, J.B. Pritzker, and horrendous California Governor Gavin Newsom to the dinner, despite the terrible job they are doing. So as usual with him, Stitt got it wrong. The invitations were sent out to all all other governors, Democrat and Republican. I look forward to seeing the Republican governors and, well, some of the Democrat governors who were worthy of being invited, but most of whom won't show up. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, and so that was everything Trump posted about today. We saw the job report destroyed expectations at 130,000 jobs added. It was 170,000 in the private sector, and they lost around 40,000 in the public sector. We also saw Donald Trump says he wants to make a deal with Iran, and he said that to Benjamin Netanyahu, who, in my opinion, is probably urging him to attack Iran. Trump says he'd rather do a deal if Iran is willing. And we also heard that Donald Trump invited almost all the governors, except for a couple who he deemed as horrendous, to the governors' meeting on February 20th. That's all I have for you guys today, and as always, if you want to support the channel, consider subscribing. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so if we get there, that would be absolutely amazing. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and take care.